So my name's Nick Race, I'm from Lancaster University. So we talked about these new technologies, 5G technologies, experimental technologies being put into hard to reach locations around the UK with the conditions that we know and love in the UK. If you like, how do we know those technologies work? How do we know they behave? How do we know you as a user of those technologies will actually get what you're expecting? And if you like, that's the challenge that we were set in this project. So we were focused on the challenge of network monitoring. So network monitoring is really important. You need to understand as an operator of those networks how that network's behaving. You need to understand, are there bottlenecks in that network? Are there areas you need to grow that network potentially in looking at future capacity? And generally, what is the performance of that network? Does it meet the conditions, for instance, that DCMS might expect for those infrastructures? Now, traditional network monitoring looks at very much a kind of single plane in terms of how it analyses those different types of technologies. So in this project we're presented with a whole array of new different types of technologies, experimental technologies, and I think one of the things we really wanted to ensure ourselves was that what we were monitoring was what the user experienced at home. You've probably had that condition at home where the network isn't working. You call the ISP, looks fine from our side, everything's fine, yet you know it's not working. How can we put technology in here that actually acts like a real user so that we really are sure that the network is behaving as we expect? So work in this project from Lancaster was around 5G Mon, which is a monitoring platform that we built to tackle all of those challenges. So to look at performance monitoring right across the different aspects of networks, right from the physical, the wireless layer, up through the stack, as it were, to the application level. So we actually get a sense of what it would be like if you were streaming a video, say you were watching BBC iPlayer, you're watching a video. Well, we can do that on this platform as well, so that the technology can work out itself whether the network's actually behaving without you having to spot any of those issues. So our full stack approach looks across all of different aspects, combines all that information, and I think the beauty of this is in the fact that we can start to correlate events. We can start to understand where impact at the physical layer may have an impact as you find watching that video content. So this is what we see as a powerful new tool for network operators and owners to use when monitoring 5G systems. So you won't be able to see all of the slide detail there. I'd encourage you to have a look at the demonstration we've got out in the foyer area. This shows you the range of different types of monitoring we can do, from bandwidth, throughput and latency. I think one of the particular interesting things that we've done with this project is look at this challenge of end user behaviour. So here's a simple example where we look at that experience of video streaming. And we look at the different quality levels. So if you've watched BBC iPlayer content, for example, you might see different levels of quality as you watch that stream. You suddenly notice a drop in quality. Well, we can monitor that, so we can actually look at all of those installations and determine which of those strongest installations where we've had most time spent at the highest quality level. So we can use that through all the monitoring that we've been able to do. And where this particularly has been interesting is a particular example in Orkley, where we've been monitoring 60 gigahertz millimeter wave technology and looking at challenges there that are weather dependent. And so yet another thing that we've added to our monitoring platform is the capability to track weather. And so we can see here, this was a particular example where customers were highlighting issues with latency around gameplay. There were two spikes, I don't know if you can see there in the bottom image, but they were traced back to weather conditions that were happening in the UK at that time. So this is another example where beyond traditional monitoring, using other factors such as weather information can give you a real insight into what's really going on in the network. That's it from me. Thank you.